Hey guys, welcome back to the Clara CFO Group channel. I wanted to basically do a PSA video, public service announcement, specifically around employee retention tax credits. There has been a lot of talk about employee retention tax credits, and this is kind of old news, but the IRS actually put a notice out, a news release out back in, I believe it was October of 2022, basically stating, hey, beware of scams. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this and talk through some things you might be seeing and give you a little bit more information to, if you are thinking about going after ERC or you've been approached by one of these companies, I want to talk through that with you today. So that's what this video is all about. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are subscribed. I'd love to have you here as a subscriber, and I want to help you in your small business. So that's what we're doing here with these videos. The IRS has basically said, hey, there's all these third parties right now who are coming out and they're saying they're doing a lot of, lead generation, and they're seeking companies to provide employee retention tax credit services where they are promising to a credit to a business and saying that they'll do all the paperwork and all you just pay us a fee, and you're going to get $1 million and you just have to pay us 30% of that or something like that. And some of this is not even like a contingent fee situation. They're just saying like, hey, we know what you qualify for and you're going to pay us a portion of this because we told you about it. And so, hey, you're better off by filing than not filing, even if you're paying them a lot of money. So these companies are popping up all over the place. And these, I want to say, like, I've been approached by a number of these different companies, not to say every single company that is helping with employee retention tax credit is bad, but they are calling these ERC or ERTC mills. So it's kind of like these companies are being spun up really quickly, going out, finding a bunch of businesses that are not all that aware of what the rules actually are, selling them ERTC services, filing these reports or even preparing the reports, but having the company file them themselves, like giving them instructions, and then just taking a big fat fee. Okay. Now, the problem with this is that a lot of these mills are not doing due diligence and actually giving good tax advice. What they're doing is they oftentimes are just saying, hey, you qualify because so-and-so over here is a business just like yours and they qualified. So if they qualified, you qualified, and you're going to get a bunch of money back. And so what's happening is a lot of businesses are like, well, I've heard about the employee retention tax credit. I just didn't think I could get it because, such and such, such and such. And then they're like, well, like if that legitimate business got it, then maybe I should get it too. And some of these companies are even offering audit protection. Some of these companies are saying, well, you don't even have to pay us until you get paid, as kind of like proofs of legitimacy, but that does not make the company legitimate. Okay. Your employee retention tax credit is legitimate if you legitimately qualify for it. So it doesn't matter who files it. Like I'm sure some of these like mills probably are filing employee retention tax credit documentation or doing this work for people who legitimately qualify, but they are also telling people who do not that they do. So the only way you should be getting an employee retention tax credit is if you legitimately qualify. I will also say that there is a wide range of interpretation on the rules around ERC. And I use ERC and ERTC interchangeably. They're the same thing. There's a wide range of interpretation. Okay. So there has been lots of chatter, even among tax professionals, about the shutdown qualification on employee retention tax credit. And there was a rumor going around saying basically that every business should qualify. Every business, regardless, like every business. I will confirm here, that is a rumor. That is not true. So if you've heard that, get it out of your, just stop. Don't think about it because that's not true. There was somebody who tried to prove the logic of like, if this, then everybody qualifies, but that's not how this works. Okay. That's not how the program works. In order to get the employee retention tax credit, you need to have either had a couple things. And I'm not going to go through the whole, because it's complicated based on the year. I have another video about like whether or not you qualify. And then I also still recommend Jamie Troll's worksheet that can help you figure out if you qualify. But revenue loss is one of the biggest ways that people are going to be qualifying for ERC in 2020 or 2021. The second thing is that you had to be directly affected by a government shutdown. Like there had to be a government order that caused your workers not to be able to work. And then the third is that if you were a brand new startup in 2021, you might be able to qualify for some money as well. So I highly recommend going back and looking at a couple of those videos that actually explain like who qualifies for the employee retention tax credit. If you haven't grabbed Jamie's spreadsheet, that's another great way. If you think you might qualify after watching that, then check out the spreadsheet, because it's a really low cost way to sort of do a little bit of your own due diligence. Because if you're approached by one of these companies that might be like, promising the sun, moon, and stars, you want to make sure that you, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's responsible, even if they filed something for you, or they told you, gave you bad advice, you're the one who took the bad advice. So you have to do your own due diligence and make sure you're really comfortable with applying for one of these credits, okay? So the spreadsheet's great for that. Or go ahead and talk to actually a tax CPA, see if somebody is actually a CPA. Also see if they've been in business for a long time, because there's tons of CPA firms that are helping with an employee retention tax credit, and they have been in business for a long time. And they have the professional integrity to hopefully not be leading you down the wrong path. Now, there are CPAs that don't have a lot of integrity. I'm just going to say that. So, do your due diligence, make sure you understand why you might qualify. If you have used one of these ERTC mills, go back and say, how did I qualify for the ERTC? Make sure you have proof showing how you qualified, and that you are also building your own case, because if you come back and get audited, and this is going to be a focus of the audit for the IRS, if you come back and get audited, you will at least have documentation and paperwork saying this is why I believed I qualified for this credit. Worst case scenario, you get the money and you realize I should not have gotten this money. I should have not kept it. I did not qualify. I used one of these mills. I did not qualify. I would try to go and get your money back and return the money back to the IRS. That would be me. I'm more conservative. Really, if you got one of these credits and you weren't supposed to, if you were to be audited, all of that money would have to go back to the IRS plus penalties and interest. And they are going to be focusing on this going forward. So this program was really amazing, but it wasn't meant to be for everybody. The government did not mean for this to be a blanket, everybody qualifies. Otherwise, that would have been very, very clear in the language. So I guess closing remarks on that is really do your own due diligence. Make sure you're really sure why you qualify for the employee retention tax credit. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Keep in mind too that you can only have a certain amount of credit per employee per quarter. So if you've got 7 employees and you've paid them more than $10,000 per quarter, you're not going to get $1 million back in employee retention tax credits. Okay, so there's some reasonableness to some of these things. And I've heard these mills can be promising the world, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And just be careful. Be careful out there. There are people who are looking to take advantage of you as a small business owner, hoping that you're ignorant, but you're not. You're not. And I'm watching your back too. So listen up, watch those videos so you understand the employee retention tax credit and you get an idea of what's reasonable, and then hire certified professionals, check their background, make sure you understand exactly why you qualify, and you will be in a better place. Okay. Hopefully this is helpful, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.